tuning in to the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hey, it's Madison Chase, fitness, your trainer to the stars and the star in you, and welcome to another incredible AFTERBUZZ TV Spotlight On interview. It's going to be an incredible show. I'm so excited about my guests, but first I want to make sure that you are on YouTube.com AFTERBUZZ TV, and if you're listening on iTunes, definitely keep listening because we have an incredible guest in the studio. And if you want to ask me a question on Twitter, I am at Madison Chase Fit. So now to our incredible guest. I think you could see him. I think you can. Mandell Frazier. He is an actor, most recently on Tyler Perry's If Loving You Is Wrong, and Kym Whitley's show on OWN TV as a personal trainer. He's an actor. He's a model. He's a celebrity trainer. He's a musician. He's very charming, lady. So if you're single, I don't know if he's single or not, but we'll find out. He's a good man. I read his story and I kept looking through IMDb. I'm like, he's really incredible. So I'm going to let you talk, Mandell. Hi.
Thank you for allowing me to be on the show.
Thank you for coming. I'm so excited to have you here. Okay, now let's start with Tyler Perry. Let's start with that. Like, I think when you're an actor and you're new to show business, or not even new, like seasoned people want to work with Tyler Perry. So I want to know, how did that come about? Did you have an agent? How did that happen?
It was really simple.
You know, you made a lot of people mad right now. It's really simple. All of you actors out there.
When I say simple, I mean as far as just having the faith that this is what you're
and
meant to do.
faith sometimes isn't simple.
It's not.
Okay.
But you have to keep it simple.
Okay. I like that.
Thank
okay.
you. No, I actually met Tyler Perry through Kym Whitley.
Okay.
I did her show, as you mentioned earlier, and we became really good friends, and she invited me on the Time Joiner cruise as her VIP guest.
Yes.
And I didn't know that Tyler Perry was going to be on this cruise auditioning for his next project.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So long story short, Kym was the one who actually set up the audition in terms of, you know, get me in. But of course I had to do the work.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And met with Raven Drummer and Sean and, you know, his casting directors. And they loved me and got the call back. And it was in front of Tyler Perry. The funny thing about that particular audition, unlike any other audition I've been in, it was really weird because of the fact that...
I want to hear your voice closer.
Okay, is that better?
You. Yeah, that's better.
Thank you.
You're making me feel some kind of way. I mean, I'm just saying.
What happened was I did the initial audition with, of course, the two casting directors. And the callback was supposed to be in front of Tyler Perry, which it was. However, there was a twist to it.
What was the twist?
The twist now, remember now, we're on a cruise ship.
Oh, and it's tons of fun because I've been one year. I actually know Oscar Joyner, Tom's son. I used to train him.
Really?
And his now wife, I call her Ali GJ.
Okay,
yes,
okay.
Super cute.
Yeah, she's really is. So long story short, we auditioned I auditioned for Tyler Perry in front of the main auditorium.
Oh my gosh.
Where all the main acts are at.
Wow.
In front of a crowd, auditorium full of people. And guess what?
What?
It was being videotaped.
Are you serious? So we could watch it? Is it on YouTube?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'm sure you can look it up.
We'll have to ask Tyler. I'll tweet him and ask him, like, where is that original audition? And they do so much fun stuff on the Tom Joyner cruise that I could only imagine the kind of energy. Was this your biggest audition?
To date, yes.
To date, okay.
Yes,
so how did it go? I mean, like, how did you prepare? Because you're on the cruise and you're not getting that much sleep and you're having an incredible time doing tons of fun things.
It was, I would be lying if I said that I wasn't nervous. Because as a trained professional, you're taught to, own the moment. Have balance, structure, discipline, all that fun stuff. And so I was a little nervous. But, like I said, I'm a man of faith. So, of course, I prayed and asked God to, calm my nerves and help me to be more effective in my role. And have fun with it. That's the main thing. A lot of times you do auditions and you get nervous and you know the lines, but when you get in front of the camera, it's like a deer in headlights.
Yeah.
So I just had to regroup, calm down. Remember, this is what I was meant to do. You have to know you're meant to do this.
Yes.
Because this industry, it can wear you down.
It's brutal.
It's very brutal. In the short time I've been out in LA, I've had friends, industry friends who, gave up, because it just wasn't, what they thought it was going to be. So again, you have to have resilience, persistence, and tenacity for the most part. The main thing is keeping it simple and focus on your craft. Hone your skills, get the training you need. It's not just about being pretty, coming down here, and then all of a sudden you're going to blow up. Right. That's in Hollywood, but it's not really Hollywood.
Right. And that's one of your quotes on your IMDb page. You said something to the effect that I'm in Hollywood, but Hollywood isn't in me.
Yes.
So what does that mean exactly? We hear people saying that all the time. I'm not Hollywood. And sometimes I get a little offended when people are like, oh, Madison, are you from LA? I'm like, no, I'm from Texas. Like, I love Texas. So what does that mean to you when you say that Hollywood isn't in you?
It simply means that I'm a very genuine person. I'm from Detroit, Michigan, as you already know.
I saw that. Detroit. I think Kenya Moore is from Michigan as well, from Real Housewives of Atlanta.
Is she?
And there's another young man, I'm probably going to interview him later, Cornelius Smith Jr. He was on All My Children.
Okay.
You guys should meet. He's got something really incredible coming up. I can't say what it is just yet, but you guys should meet. Detroit
okay, definitely.
connection. I'm going to connect you guys. But go ahead.
Well, what happened was because I'm so genuine, I'm real, I'm authentic. So a lot of people tell me, Mandel, whenever you blow up, don't
lose
change.
that. Yeah.
Don't change.
Yeah.
And so I tell people all the time, listen, I may be in Hollywood, but Hollywood is not in me.
Right.
Meaning that I'm not going to change because God has given me blessings.
Right.
Because he can take it away as well.
Right.
You never take your gifts for granted. And so I try to keep it simple by simply stating, I may be in Hollywood, but Hollywood is not in me.
Right.
From an attitude standpoint.
Okay, now let's talk about your family. Like, you're the youngest of 7. Now, that has to be a very interesting time growing up, especially being the youngest, because I'm the youngest of 2. So, but I can't imagine having 6 other brothers and sisters where you're having to kind of fight for attention. And so is that why you're an actor? Because I've heard that most people that are actors, they normally have to, like, fight for attention.
I never had to fight for attention, but I want to thank you, first of all, for saying that I'm the youngest and not the baby.
I know. I don't mind saying the baby because I'm my mama's baby. So whenever I go home, I'm sleeping in the bed with my mama. So I don't mind being the baby. But yes, the youngest of 7.
You know what? It's funny because I was home over the holidays in the Midwest, and somebody had told my mother, oh, he's the youngest. And she was like, yeah, he's the youngest. However, he's the most independent one.
Wow.
Yes.
And that happens too a lot. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I'm very independent, probably too independent.
Okay.
When I was growing up, I washed my own clothes, I cooked my own
food.
Did you? Yeah.
Oh, ladies,
Yeah.
y'all hear that? He washed his own clothes and cook his own food. Okay, now what's your favorite thing to cook?
I shouldn't say this because it's going against my beliefs as a trainer.
Uh-oh. Is this something southern and fried and laid to the side, mac and cheese?
I love protein. So chicken,
Fried chicken?
fish.
Oh, gosh.
Not necessarily fried.
Okay.
I can do broiled.
You
I can do
broiled?
blackened.
Okay.
I can do
Ooh,
baked.
okay.
Yeah.
Barbecue?
I mess around with barbecue.
Okay,
Yes.
because my mom can make some really good barbecue.
Really?
Yeah, she's good. I mean, I didn't get that skill, but she's good. So that's your favorite thing to make is chicken?
It's probably not my favorite thing. It's probably one of the few things I can make without assistance.
Okay.
Understand this. Because I'm very independent, I used to watch like cooking shows and I pick up very easy.
Okay.
But, in LA, you're constantly on the go. I mean, my place is just like a hotel. I just go there to lay down for a few hours, get back up. I'm on a grind.
Wow.
So I don't get a chance to have a lot of home cooked meals. My family is back east. So out here, it's all about getting what you can, trying to stay fit, stay healthy, all that fun stuff, stay full of energy. When you're in front of the camera, they don't want to see bags under your eyes and things like that. You got to keep it simple.
Yeah, keep it simple. Yeah, I'm definitely a fan of I'll put some foil when I used to eat chicken. I don't eat chicken anymore, but I would put I'd get a piece of foil, put chicken in there, and then put my spices in there, and put it in the foil, put it in the oven, and then I wouldn't have to clean up.
I used to do that.
Okay.
Yeah, when I had a regular 9 to 5, I had all the time in the world to prepare.
I got you.
But now it's just like whatever's in the kitchen, in the refrigerator, that's what I get.
I got you. Totally get that. Now let's talk about your family, because I know that family is super important to you. I know your oldest brother played with the Parliament, P-Funk.
George Clinton,
Yeah, George Clinton. Did I meet him? I can't remember, but no, not him. It was not The Temptations, somebody else. I have to think of who it is at the end.
Okay.
But so tell me, how was that growing up around they're legendary rock and roll stars. So did you ever get a chance to meet them? And do you have any great stories that you could share with us? I'd love to hear, because he seems like an interesting guy.
He's very interesting. Matter of fact, I had a chance to meet him on the Tom Joyner cruise.
Oh, wow.
I had never met him before, but all my life I grew up listening, because my brother was always on the road.
Okay.
Always traveling, always touring. And so I had a chance to meet him on the cruise ship, one of the theme nights they had. And I walked up to him, and I was with some friends, and I'm like, my brother played for you. And immediately he was like, Zach?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Do you look like your brother?
You know what? It's funny. My brother, he's, because he was a lot older than me, I kind of came late in life.
Okay.
My mother always tells
You were the oopsie baby? We won't call it the oopsie baby. We'll call it the ooh-wee baby. Ooh-wee, we got another one.
My mother, she always talks about I came through the change of life.
Oh.
Yeah. So I was meant to be here.
You were Now, when you say the change of life, are you talking about the change like pre-menopause? Really?
Yes.
You are
so
a miracle.
I was born a fighter.
You were,
I was born a fighter.
That sperm was fighting. That's what I'm talking about. But look at you still fighting. You still fighting. I love it. Okay, so you got a chance to meet him. What did he say? How did he know that you were Zach's brother? How did he know?
I had told a friend of mine that, my brother, when I heard that he was performing on the ship, I'm like, I would love to meet him because my brother played for him. I've always heard about him. I listened to his music, but I've never met him. And so my buddy hooked it up, and so I think Ice Cube was performing. And
they had everybody on the cruise.
Robin Thicke.
I was supposed to go this year. I'm so sad.
This was last year.
I know, but I was supposed to go this year.
You should have went.
Wait, did it already happen?
No,
I think it's happening in March, right?
It happens in March.
Okay.
Well, last year it happened in March, so
Okay.
I'm not sure they have the same dates. So he came and got me. He said, Mandel, I want you to meet somebody. And they had set it up. I had no idea.
Wow, so it was like a surprise.
Yeah.
Did you cry?
No, I didn't cry.
Okay.
But I was cheesy.
Girls like that, though. I mean, just in case you're wondering. Mandel's like, Madison, you're crazy.
You're funny.
Okay.
But no, so he was so, it was like he knew me.
Wow, because
Yeah.
he knew your brother.
The energy.
Yeah.
The energy.
Familiar.
And so he asked about my brother, how he was doing. He wanted his information.
Oh, wow.
Gave me his information to give to him.
Wow.
And real laid back, really cool, down to earth. And so that's how I want to be. I want to be iconic.
Yeah.
But still be down to earth.
Yes.
Yeah. Don't
change.
Don't change.
Yeah. You know who is like that? I've had the pleasure of meeting Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Incredible guy. Will Smith, incredible guy. Like, one of the things that I always say to people, especially when you're up and coming and people start to know who you are. Like, I've seen Dwayne train at the gym, and I was like, he is the nicest person to the front desk people, to the general manager person, like the nicest guy. And I was like, that thing when people say that's it, that it thing is being nice and humble to everybody and gracious. And Will Smith is the same way. When I worked on, I used to train Lisa Ray for all of us. And when I was training her, I would just watch him. And he was there was no difference in how he treated the person that worked at craft service versus the person who was directing the show. I was like, so now my thing is nobody else has an excuse. Like if Dwayne can be this incredible guy to everybody, and you're that same way, because when I first met you, I was like, oh, he's so sweet. I feel like I know you, but yeah, we're taking selfies together, like y'all saw the selfies we took. But you're the nicest guy, so I'm expecting more great things from you. I'm really excited for what's coming down the pipeline for you. Now let's talk about your faith, because you touched on that a little bit. I know you've had some things in life that kind of changed probably your heart and made you grow closer to God, and I'm sure that story, I'm not going to say it happens a lot, but I know Chelsea Handler lost I think it was her brother, and then I lost my sister. So it really makes you deal with grief differently. It makes you think about life differently. It makes you respect others differently. It does a whole lot of things for you. So I know I couldn't even imagine, because I'm really close to my mom, because I grew up in a single parent home. My mom was my mama and my daddy.
Okay.
I couldn't even imagine, because it sounds like your family was so close, like the Brady Bunch. That's what it sounds like, the Black Brady Bunch. Because your parents were married for like 51 years. So that in itself, seeing that growing up as a child, like I told you before we started, I'm like, I don't know very many people who have seen both of their parents together and really understanding what a loving relationship looks like. So let's talk about your faith and growing closer to God when you experienced that loss.
It's funny you mentioned about family and the relationship I have, because growing up I came from a very structured, religious, conservative household, Pentecostal.
Pentecostal, oh yeah, y'all don't play. Yeah, running around church,
exactly,
shouting, speaking in
hand
tongues,
clapping, foot stomping, tongue talking.
Right.
But that's how I got my spiritual foundation. And it's funny because when people ask me about my family, my mother, she's a very well-known, respected missionary evangelist. She traveled all over the world with her ministry. And my father was a hardworking, he was hardworking. He's always, all my life, he's always, made sure that we was taken care of, so I came from good stock.
And he was in the Navy too.
He was also served in the U.S. Navy, and never realized how much my upbringing meant in turn. Yeah, because I talk to people, when you outside of that atmosphere of your family, that's when you really see what you really have.
What you're made of.
What you're made of.
Yeah.
Because, for a long time, I felt like two minorities. I'm a black man living in America. And also, I came from a two-parent home.
Yeah.
All my friends came from single parents homes. So I felt like not an outcast, but, it was kind of weird that, that I was the only one around that came from two. Yeah. But the good thing about that is it taught me how to embrace, my just who I was as a person for the most part. I think seeing that, I've always joke around that I'm an old-fashioned man with a modern-day twist.
Yep, I say the same thing.
Really?
About myself, yeah.
See, kindred spirits.
Yes, I totally. That's probably why I was like, oh, that's my friend. Yeah. Like, we're not really friends. But you know what? And I think growing up in a house where both of your parents were serving, your dad served in the U.S. Navy, and that takes a lot to do that. And then your mother served in the ministry. So growing up with that kind of servant's heart, like that's kind of where you are, and that's probably why you've had such great success moving forward in your career and all the things that you do.
And a lot of prayer.
Yeah, and a lot of prayer. I'm sure you got a big family, so I'm sure they're definitely praying for you. Let's talk about the projects that are coming up for you, like what's happening. And before we talk about what's coming up for you, I want to talk about, like, if you could paint the picture of your life in the next 5 years. You're really thinking about it. I could see this. I love it. Where would you want to see yourself? Would you want to stay on television? Would you want to do films? Because I've heard so many actors say, oh, I don't want to do reality television. I'm like, Nene Leakes did reality television, and she's turned it around. So that old kind of cliche of, real actors don't do reality television. I think that that doesn't exist anymore because real actors are doing reality television. And I think you could turn an opportunity into whatever you want it to be.
Yes.
So for you, what would, in the next 5 years, if you could, paint your ideal picture of where you would want to see yourself and what you would want to be doing, what would that look like?
I see myself in 5 years being settling down, having a family. Again, I have, I believe in having structure, balance, discipline, accountability. Old-fashioned man with a modern-day twist. Right now, where I'm at in my life, I believe in staying in my own lane, running my own race. I'm not one of these actors that try to
compete.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because I read somewhere, and a long time ago, I read that, you should never compare your beginnings to somebody else's middle.
Yeah.
Or your middle to somebody's ending. Because bottom line is that we all have our own race to run.
Yes.
And when you start veering off into other people's lane, that's when you get off track.
Totally.
And you lose your pace.
Yep.
So I learned how to keep it simple. 5 years from now, I hope to be a very financially successful actor. Also, I want to eventually veer off into being maybe an executive producer. Because that's something that I want to invest. This is my livelihood. I mean, I've been acting since I was 10 years old.
Oh, wow.
But, didn't pursue it as a career until 3 years ago.
Okay.
And I think what happened was, from the time I was 10 up until I moved to LA, I was doing, stage play productions and never got paid, never got the credit. I just enjoyed doing it.
Right.
It was just a passion.
Right.
It was a hobby that I enjoyed doing. Not knowing that I was being trained, maybe not in the sense of theater,
right,
as far as being in a school. However, my training came from just my raw talent. What I did now, once I decided to make this a career,
right,
I knew that I had to get more structure with the training. Okay, it's like a basketball player who's in high school and he goes straight to the NBA.
Right.
Versus getting that structure he needed in college. Just learning how to be a team player. It's not all about you, because I realized everybody who made it in life had somebody
to help them. Yeah.
And I think that's where a lot of people get confused, thinking that it's me and that's all. And that's when, that spirit of pride come in.
Yes.
And of course, we know what the Bible says about pride. So you want to keep it simple.
Yeah.
I learned how to give credit where credit is due, because I know that if it wasn't for my faith and my family and the prayers of people who knows me, I wouldn't be where I'm at, And so I learned how to, just to embrace what's happening, and I'm enjoying the moment.
Yeah.
I'm not so much focused on getting to the destination.
Right.
I'm enjoying the journey.
Right.
Because a lot of times when you get to the destination, it's like, what happened?
Right.
I mean, what happened to the journey? You missed everything that was the part of the process. So I embraced the process. I embraced change.
Right.
Because when you learn to embrace change, that's when the doors open up for opportunities, So I, have fun with it.
Yeah. Have fun with it. Yes.
Have fun with it.
I love it. Now let's talk about your upcoming projects. I know when we spoke recently, you said that you were doing a film with Ice Cube. Let's talk about that project, because I know there was some an interesting story with Suge Knight, and actually one of my friends that I know really well is involved in that whole Suge Knight situation, which broke my heart. But so let's talk about that project and your other projects that are coming up for you.
Straight out of Compton, I been very blessed and fortunate to be in a position to do what I enjoy doing and getting paid for it. When I've heard of F. Gary Gray.
He's incredible.
He's a director for this movie. Working with him was phenomenal, because every director, I worked with Tyler Perry, I worked with F. Gary Gray and other producers for television as well as film, and everybody has their own niche, their own style.
What was his style? If you could compare, because I think I actually interviewed Omari Hardwick, and I interviewed Ava DuVernay, who's the director for Selma. And Omari Hardwick said that, being an ex-athlete, that Tyler was a very coachable. He gets in the trenches with you, and he really works through the process of creating that character. So how would you describe Tyler Perry style versus F. Gary Gray style?
Tyler Perry, he's very structured. He knows what he wants. It's a huge contrast between filming in Hollywood versus filming in Atlanta. Yeah, I mean, Tyler Perry, I mean, he gets in and gets out. I mean, 1, 2, 3 takes and you're done.
Oh, wow.
You know, he knows what he wants, and you know, whereas
and he knows how to pull it out of you.
He knows how to put it out of you. You know, like for instance, you know, working with Tyler was very profound for me because of the fact that as an actor, I'm, you know, look at the script, I embrace the character, I make my decision, and I own it for the most part. You get on set, and he may say, hey, you know, try it this way, you know, and he put out some words, and of course you want to, you know, obviously make a good impression,
right?
But at the same time, you want to own that character,
right?
You know, so it doesn't seem so rehearsed. You may do improv, you know, but again, that's part of their training. You know, as an actor, you know, you learn how to do scripts, improv, comedy, drama, whatever. Bottom line is that you want to have that type of diversity in your resume, you know, in your repertoire for the most part. But F. Gary Gray, of course, you know, that was a feature film versus, you know, television. But it was he's very very detailed, extremely detailed.
Really?
You could be in the background, in the corner, he'll catch you.
And he still
and
wants
he'll stop and he'll say, hey, listen, I mean, he's just that focused and that driven. Different styles, but you learn to appreciate it because, again, filming in Hollywood versus filming in a place like Atlanta is totally different. It's like, you know, apples and oranges. But again, you get a chance to appreciate the different types of, you know, directing techniques, you know, that you experience for the most part. And I had so much fun, you know, working, you know, and it's funny because, you know, here I am flying to Atlanta. I lived there for 7 years. Being a personal trainer, modeling, being a musician, you know, having fun, enjoying my hobbies. So now here I am in California pursuing my craft as an actor. And then, of course, I end up moving, you know, booking work in Atlanta, you know, and it's so much fun because, you know, I'm so much on the go. Sometimes I don't have a chance to kind of stop and appreciate how far I've come. And that's the main thing. I'm learning how to celebrate the milestones, the little milestones. Instead of like if I'm driving from California to New York, if I'm just focusing on New York, you know,
forget to appreciate the city.
Exactly. Sometimes you got to stop and see how far you came to appreciate where you're at. And that's what I think I'm learning as far as the process. I'm learning how to embrace and enjoy the process. And you're gonna have some bumpy roads, some smooth roads. You're gonna have some beautiful sights and some not so beautiful sights. But it's all part of the process. It's all a part of the experience, which makes you who you are, you know, as a skilled actor.
Now, speaking of training, personal training and your acting training, I hear a lot of actors, you know, definitely saying I want to stay current with my craft and I want to always make sure that I'm working on my craft. Now, you've worked on your craft in 2 different fields when you're talking about fitness, training your body, and then training, you know, your acting skills. So, and looking at those 2 comparisons as far as fitness and acting, do you feel like it's a good marriage? Because I think when you're talking about being disciplined in any one thing, you could apply that discipline to the other thing. So how would you say fitness has helped you in the world of acting?
I call it transferable skills. Because the same work ethic I had as a trainer, the structure, the balance, the discipline, the accountability we talked about, you apply that in, you know, what I'm doing now. As a working actor, unless you have a recurring role or you're locked in on a major contract, you are here and you are hustling. You know, I use 3 words: pray, grind, and be patient.
PGP.
Yes.
All right, that's a good hashtag. Pray, grind, and be patient. We like that.
Yes.
So, I mean, if you had to sum up, like, I think before you moved to LA, there's so many people that come here. What would you say would be 3 things that you wish you would have known before you actually moved to LA that someone would have told you?
I'm very inquisitive. One thing about me, I believe in planning. I'm not very impulsive.
Okay.
I know that, variety is the spice of life, but sometimes you have to, keep it simple.
Yes.
And I think having a plan, making sure that you execute that plan.
Yes.
And building a team. That's the key.
I think that's definitely part of the key. Having a team that you could trust, because
Yes.
LA is such a tricky kind of maneuvering, like you feel like you're water rafting.
Oh,
sometimes it's like smooth, and then sometimes you're like, wait a minute, it's a little
What
rough
happened?
here. Yeah, what happened? So let's talk about Cosmos. That's your most recent. That's in pre-production, and you're playing a sheriff. Are you like a good kind of sheriff, or are you like the sheriff that nobody wants to talk to? Or are you the mean kind
You
of sheriff?
have to wait and see.
Okay.
As a matter of fact,
okay.
I'm filming that next week.
Next week? Okay.
Yes. It's I got that project through my agent.
Okay.
And it's funny thing about this industry. I learned how, as far as building a team, you have to understand that agents and managers and your PR, they work for you,
Yes.
not the other way around.
Right.
And a lot of times people get confused.
Right.
I talk to actors who've had the same agent for 5 or 10 years and don't
Yes.
get out.
Yeah.
And you go to their IMDb page, and it's like, wait a minute, you've been in this
works.
industry for how long?
Right, right,
and
right.
and you don't want to judge them.
Right.
But you see that, okay, that's not working for them. So you have to have your own game plan.
Yep.
Again, having the right team
Yeah.
around you, but you're the CEO.
Yes.
You're the
of your team.
owner of your company. You're the brand. And you have to hire your managers. If they're not getting the work done, then what you do?
Yeah.
It's not personal, it's business.
Right.
It can be personal once you start
Right.
messing with my money.
Right. Could be very personal.
It can be very personal,
Yeah.
but for the most part, it's a business. It's called show business. And I think a lot of actors who move here because of the competition,
Yes.
because of the lack of opportunities and some, depending on what role you're going for,
Right.
I think people feel they have to compromise.
Yes.
And there's power in saying no.
Oh my goodness.
I've
yes.
turned down roles that have been offered to me, and because I feel like if you know you're meant to be here, I believe in keeping it simple.
Yeah.
I don't try to be something I'm not. I stay in my lane.
Right.
I was recently asked to be in a very popular stage play production, and I did a couple of rehearsals, and I realized, wait a minute, this is not what I'm good at.
Stage plays.
Yeah, exactly.
Because
So
you have to be much bigger.
well, it
because
wasn't a stage play per se. It was a
Okay.
character they wanted me to play in a
Oh,
stage
I
play.
gotcha. Okay.
And so I didn't have enough time to really perfect the character.
Okay.
And so I'm not going to make myself look bad, nor am I going to let the production look bad for the most part.
Right.
So I humbly bowed out for the
Okay.
most part. My whole point was, I'm not one of these actors. I know I stay in my lane. I'm not going to pretend to be something I'm not.
Right.
You have to, when I'm on stage, whether I'm in front of the camera, I'm on stage, you learn, if you're on stage, you learn to engage the audience.
Yes.
You learn to be, you're projecting, and you feed off the energy for the most part. I want to be able to give my all. I can't give that if I don't feel comfortable in the role I'm playing.
Absolutely.
So to me, again, this is something that I've been doing since I was a little kid. But when I became more serious about my craft, as far as making this a career, I'm a full-time actor. I don't have a part-time gig.
Right.
Okay, because I wasn't rich when I moved here.
Right.
But I had a good job.
You do have a part-time. You could always go back to training if you needed to.
Well, you know what? It's funny you said that, because I have people ask me all the time.
I was going to say.
Yeah,
I'm sure because your traps are bulging through that sweater. Okay, I'm sorry. I just noticed traps. You stick to the script, Madison.
It's funny. It's funny you said that, because a lot of the roles I play on TV is a
all
trainer.
fit. Yeah.
And so people assume that, their perception is their reality. Of course, in this case, it is true.
yeah.
I used to be a trainer, and I used to be the personal training director for.
LA Fitness, I saw that in 3 states.
You're funny.
I read. I could read.
You did your homework very
I
good.
did.
So people ask me all the time, especially at the gym, hey, do you still train? How much do you charge? And so I usually give them a crazy number, just get them off my
Just to
back.
see, right.
And guess what? They're like,
No.
oh, you're cheap.
Oh, that's good.
I'm charging $250 an hour.
Wow.
Oh, you're cheap. I'm thinking, okay, maybe I should.
Let me rethink this. Let's talk after the show, Mandel. I think you should rethink that. Okay. So let's talk about last thing. We're going to wrap it up in a little bit. I want to know if you ever were offered a role that was against kind of the moral foundation of who you are. Is that something that I'm sure you would probably bow out gracefully, but what would you say to other actors out there who are possibly in compromising situations, who feel like, I got to take this because this is why I moved here? What would you say to that actor that's thinking about doing something that's compromising to their moral character?
It's funny you said that because I talk to actors all the time, and we kind of bounce off each other for the most part. Again, there's power in saying no. And me being an ex-trainer, it's not what you say, it's how you say it.
That's so true.
You don't...
So true.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I learned how to...
That's that Southern, like you have a Southern kind of charm about you. So maybe that's what it is, because you could probably say something really mean, but with a voice. Okay, I'm working on that. I don't have that. I'm from the South, but I don't have that.
It's fine. You're fine. I tell people all the time, I didn't move to Hollywood to compromise my integrity.
I know that's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
First and foremost, I want to feel good when I go to bed at night. I want to have peace about myself. You know what I'm saying? This goes back to me feeling comfortable with the roles. I told my agent when I was interviewing agents, certain roles I would not go out for, simply because there's other actors who are trained to do certain characters.
I got you.
And I can improv.
Right.
However, you want authenticity.
Yes.
You want that realness there. And so for me to give my all, I have to be comfortable in the role that I'm portraying. So I'm very picky and selective about the roles I picked. People tell me all the time, wow, you are really doing it here in LA. And I tell them, I say, you know what? I turn out, not being bragging, because I don't believe it.
Right.
I believe in being very humble, because God, I think He honors when you are, first of all, give Him the praise.
Right.
But at the same time, I learned how to just keep it simple. Yeah. Again, when it comes to Hollywood, I'm glad to be here, pursuing my dream. A lot of people can only dream about what I'm doing, and I tell anybody, whether it's acting, whether it's starting your own business, whether it's doing whatever, you have to, life is short.
Yes.
From the time you're born, the year you're born, the year you die, that dash in the middle represents your life.
Yes.
What will your dash say about you?
Ooh, that's good. What will your dash say about you?
Keep it simple.
Ooh, I love that.
Like that?
And I saw a quote, I think I put it on my Instagram page, and it said, it's never too late to be what you might have been.
Ooh, yeah.
And it's such a great quote, because I think people stop dreaming once you get past a certain age, or people start believing, oh, I've had 2 kids and I can't get in shape, or I can't do this. And Ernestine Shepard, she started doing fitness competitions when she was like 70.
Wow.
So whenever somebody gives me that excuse, and I'm like, go check her out on YouTube. So I love that. So where can we find you on social media so that people can keep up with you, what's happening with you, your films that are coming out?
I told you I like to keep things simple.
Okay.
So, you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook under Mandell Frazier, MANDELL FRAZIER.
Yes, I love it. And I am your girl, Madison Chase. This is AfterBuzz TV Spotlight On with the incredible Mandell Frazier. And I am Madison Chase, your trainer to the stars and the star in you, because I believe everybody is a star. It's just how you bring those qualities out. And I'm also your voice of virginity. And you can find me at Madison Chase Fit. Please leave a comment, questions for Mandell or myself. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.